here we go. Let's start with 10 teams, and these are random order here that we're going to give these teams out. Let's start with Alabama, because this is an interesting one, obviously. Nick Saban leaves the Tide after what was the longest sustained era of greatness that we've ever seen in college football history. We're never, I know we said this about Florida State with what Bobby Bowden did, finishing in the top 4 of the AP poll. What was it? I think it was 14 straight years. But we're never going to see what we just saw Nick Saban do at Alabama. Now, Georgia fans think that they're on their way with Kirby Smart, and maybe so. Maybe so. But, man, it's going to be, I think, even more difficult to replicate what Alabama just did when you're talking about an expanded playoff, because you're going to have to prove it more times. You know, and there's going to be more games. There will be more quality opponents. I just don't think that we're going to see this ever again. So now Kalen DeBoer, he takes over at Alabama, and I think that the question is looming, well, what does success look like the first year for Kalen DeBoer and the Tide? They are top 5 in the preseason AP poll for the 16th straight year. Now, they weren't in my poll, now, which, you know, fair enough. And I think that a lot of the AP is conditioned just to put them in that spot. If you really look at it, I think that there were other teams that you could categorically say we're going to have better years or are going to have better years. But this is where I'm going to fall on Alabama, excuse me. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. I've said this. I loved my interview with him on Big Noon Conversations. Go back and watch that one. Alabama cannot take a giant step back or 2 steps back. They just can't. They're Alabama. We just saw the greatest era of college football that we've ever seen. They've got the resources. They just hired what I would deem as one of the most successful coaches in college football. You know, he just went to the national championship game with Washington. He won a national championship at Sioux Falls. The guy's won over 100 games in his head coaching career. He's lost just a few games. Like, his record, as I said in the interview, I said, like, he's got kind of that Tiger Woods aspect to him where it's like he just wins and he learned how to win and he was conditioned to win as a head coach. So while I didn't put them in my top 4, and while I think that there are 2 clear teams right now in the SEC that might be better than them in the preseason, Texas and Georgia, I still don't think that Alabama can go and take a massive step back, nor do I think they will take a massive step back. He's too good, and their players are too good, and they believe in what they're doing at Alabama. So for me, Alabama's got to make the college football playoff quarterfinals. Okay, they have lived rent-free in the top 4 in college football for a long time. I can expect a small step back, but not give them 2 steps back. If they just make the college football playoff and a 12-team playoff, I think everyone's looking around, me included, being like, I don't know. I don't think that was a great year. So for me, they've got to win the first round game and get to the final 8, get to that college football playoff quarterfinal. That, to me, is success for Alabama. And I think that they can do it. So Alabama, I'm putting firmly in the middle of the college football playoff quarterfinals. Okay, Colorado. This is one I think a lot of people are wondering about. Colorado, CU is going to be one of the hardest teams to project year over year as long as Coach Prime is there and their roster is so transfer-centric. It's just going to be difficult because we don't exactly know what they are, who they are, to be quite candid. Now, I think to be fair to Colorado, and most people are not. Most people are not. And I totally understand if you want to say, like, hey, Joel, you played there, you're just on the bandwagon. That's fine. But I believe that that's negating the facts. And here are the facts. Last year, they played 6 games against ranked opponents, and I would categorize them getting blown out in only one of those games. In fact, in the other 5, Oregon blew them out. Oregon was a great team. They went up there. Oregon wasn't playing for clicks, even though Dan doesn't like that comment. That was also in Big Noon Conversations. Go check out Dan Lanning's comment. But Colorado got blown out by Oregon. In the other 5 games they played against ranked opponents, they were in a 1-score game in the 4th quarter. Nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody just wants to throw dirt on this program, or just sing their praises from the rafters. It seems like it's totally hyperbolic. The pendulum is wildly one way or the other. And for me, I just think that Colorado was better than most people believed last year. They lost some games that they shouldn't have. They might have won a game that they shouldn't have as well. You could say that about the TCU game early. But 5 one-score games in the fourth quarter against ranked opponents, and they're better this year. And here's the thing with Colorado. Their over-under in Vegas is only 5.5. That's way too low. You've got one of the best, if not the best, college quarterbacks in the game. You've got probably, I think, the best position player in the game in Travis Hunter, and they've upgraded dramatically on the line of scrimmage, which is exactly where they needed to upgrade. They go to a bowl easy, and I say 8 wins for Colorado is the definition of success. So my definition for success for Colorado is 8 wins. That far surpasses what Vegas thinks that they're going to do. So yes, Colorado's in a bowl game. I'm giving them 8. I really wanted to say 9, but I do think that the level of attrition in the Big 12 is going to be hard to get over. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.